Hi everyone, my name is Rob, and in today's video of our Avrame home, I want to talk to you about how our family went about planning and implementing all of the utilities into our home, as well as discuss some key features that you might want to consider as you plan your own custom Avrame home. Let's get into today's video. The first section of our utilities that I want to speak to you about is our electrical supply. When we started planning out our house, we contacted our local electrical supply company, and they let us know that to get the electricity from the other side of the road to our side of the road was going to cost just over $20,000. Then we would have to get that electricity from the end of our driveway, 1,000 foot up our driveway to our houses, which would have cost, we don't even know how much more. We chose to go fully off-grid solar for that reason, because for around $25,000, we got our solar system delivered and installed. When we got our solar system installed, it was for a 6 kilowatt system. And since then, we've actually added another inverter. We also swapped out the generator that we started with and got a second one that will allow us more control and more power when we need the generator. And we're saving up money to increase the size of our batteries for the storage of our electricity. And that's one of the things I love the most about our off-grid choices, is that there's so much room for us to adapt and change as needed. Sure, it might cost more upfront, but we're also not paying any bills toward any electrical supply companies. The second utility that I want to talk to you about is how we're going to heat and cool our home. We chose to use an outdoor wood boiler for our primary source of heat through these cold winter months. One of the things I love most about the outdoor wood boiler is it keeps all of the soot and the ash and the smoke and the firewood outside of your house. I don't have to bring it inside and make a mess inside of our home. I love that it's all kept outside. But the way that this works is there's a big bladder at the top that's full of glycol. Glycol is a solution that won't freeze in winter if it's not running. It's not running right now, and I don't have to worry about it freezing. But that glycol gets heated up and it gets pumped into our home, where we can then use it to heat up our slab as well as our domestic water. We also have inside the home a propane boiler that's connected to the same system as the heatmore that can be used to heat the slab and our domestic water as needed. Speaking of propane and our propane boiler, when it came time to install that boiler and the propane tanks and all the propane lines, we also contracted out the installation of our HRV, our heat recovery ventilator. The HRV, it exchanges the stale air inside of your home with fresh air from outside, making sure that the building envelope still receives fresh air even in these colder months. And lastly, all of our plumbing components. We called our plumber and we just told him, here's a bathroom, here's where the laundry's gonna be, here's the kitchen, and let him do all of the supply lines as well as all the drainage, and got all of that done. And when all of those different utilities were completed, we were finally ready to start covering up our walls. I want to end this video by just giving you a few things to consider if you're also designing your own home. And that first thing is to make sure that every single one of your subcontractors know what the other subcontractors' needs are before they begin doing their work. Each contractor has different needs for space requirements or spacing through the wall cavity or distances from outlets or things like that. You want to make sure that they're in communication with each other, or that they've given you a detailed plan so that they all know where they can and cannot do their work. The second thing that I want to mention is that as the home builder or the designer of the home, you need to know where all of your utilities are going to converge inside the home. Things like your gas, your water, your well supply, your electricity. You need to know where all those things are going to end at the very beginning so that you can start planning for all those things. You need to make sure that your subcontractors agree to work within the space allowed. We have chose to not do a utility room in our house, but rather we're going to fit everything underneath the stairwell of our home. Some other Avrame homes have chosen to use the space between the knee wall and the eaves of the house, that small little triangular space, to fit their utilities under there. Regardless of where you put them, you just want to make sure that your subcontractors agree that that's the right space for it to go, and then plan accordingly as you build. And lastly, I want to encourage you to talk with all of your subcontractors before they begin their work, and make sure that you have an agreement as to who gets to work first, when that work will be completed, and schedule all of them around the same time so that they can come in, you can get out of their way, they can get their work done, and then when they're all done, you can begin the work of finishing the interior of your home. Well, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you in our next one. Bye now.